file in regards to the FEMA 72-hour notification that we've heard so much about in the last day. And it says here, KBR, Government Defense and Infrastructure, Project Overview and Anticipated Project Requirements. And it says here, KBR is establishing a national quick response team for our current Federal Emergency Management Agency and U.S. Army Corps of Engineers work, and for anticipated future contracts. Upon completion of evaluation, certain subcontractors may be invited to establish a master services agreement with pre-established lease rates and terms and conditions. The continental U.S. will be broken up into 5 regions as indicated in the map below. Services will be required in each state within each region. And you can see here, I know most of you are probably already familiar with the FEMA regions, and you can see here the green number 1, the yellow number 2, the brown number 3, 4 and 5 here. And I don't know if this means this is the first they're going to be up in this region, and second over here, and third, and these are the priorities. I'm just speculating here, but if that's the case, then it would seem that, along the New Madrid and up into that fault line I've been talking about, that it extends from the St. Lawrence Seaway Valley up here and down into through the Great Lakes and down into the New Madrid. So, that maybe that's right. They're starting out here and here first because they're going to have to. And once a disaster occurs along the New Madrid, then they're going to be hitting these areas here. And so who knows? I mean, I'm just speculating right there. But I'll link you guys up to the entire document. And it says here, anticipated project requirements. Establish services listed below within 72 hours for initial setup and respond within 24 hours for incremental services. This is a contingency project, and it should be stressed that lead times will be short with critical requirements due to the nature of emergency responses. Subcontractors must be flexible and able to handle multiple shifting priorities in an emergency environment. Supply lines needed must be short but not necessarily pre-positioned. And it goes on to say that the personnel on site to be covered by these services will depend on the size and scope of the recovery effort. But for estimating purposes, the camp will range in size from 301 to 2,000 persons for up to 30 days in length. The offerer will not have to submit a proposal for each service in each state. Please identify which state and/or region your company can perform the requested services. The descriptions of the services are for reference only, and any and all specific requirements will be forthcoming with detailed statements of work in an RFP solicitation. And it goes on to talk about a few of the other things, and so I'll link you guys up with that article, and you can check it out yourself and read it. However, it's also worth noting that another reason why they could have these labeled as 1, 2, 3, 4, all in this area, this is the most densely populated area in North America, right up in this region. And, most of Canada lives right along this area too, all along here. And so that could be another reason. But again, I'm just speculating there. So we'll get to this next article I wanted to show you that also touches on this topic. But before I do, I just want to say, if you haven't seen the videos or heard about the National Defense and Authorization Act, or the NDAA, where the government says they can go round up people and without charge or trial and haul them off and imprison them. And I also posted much mainstream coverage within the last year talking about how Obama and the Obama administration had been pushing for this prolonged detention. So I'll link you up with this article anyways, and I'll get to the next piece here. Okay. Okay. This article here is from the Intel News Network, or the IntelHub.com. Sorry. And the title reads Fed interest in food storage facility connected to FEMA Executive Order 10999. And if we go on to read here, it says on Thursday, Stuart Rhodes of Oath Keepers posted a bulletin on the organization's blog reporting on federal agents demanding a food storage cannery in Tennessee turn over customer lists so they might discover who is purchasing bulk storable foods and storing it at the facility owned by Mormons. So why do they want to know who's storing food? Oh, and if you remember, I just passed a bill, or I didn't pass it. Sorry, I just posted a video. I meant to say, talking about how in the NDAA bill, if you have 7 days or more of food stored, that you could be considered a terrorist, and that's actually in the bill. And Rand Paul even talks about that in one of his speeches, or one of his addresses, I should say. And it says, as Rhodes notes, it is part of Mormon church religious doctrine to store food for hard times and emergencies. Church doctrine states that each family store a year's worth of basic dry goods along with 3 months' worth of store-bought canned and boxed foods. These church canneries also often sell food storage items to non-church members, seeing it as both morally right and prudent to help their neighbors store food, whatever their faith, Rhodes explains. He then speculates as to why the feds would demand customer lists. DHS/FEMA wants to know which Americans have food storage so the federal government can at some point, or can at some future point, confiscate that food. Just as with lists of gun owners, compiling such lists is the first step towards future confiscation, he writes. And it says here, in fact, the government codified the concept of food confiscation and redistribution when President Kennedy issued Executive Order 10999 on February 16th, 1962. And it goes on to say 10999 was one of several executive orders signed by Kennedy under the rubric of national emergency that extended extrajudicial power to FEMA, including the ability to control communications, energy, food, fuel, farms, transportation, highways, railroads, inland waterways, and seaports, health, education, and welfare. Oh, so all they got to do is create a disaster and they control everything. Like they don't already. It'd just be a heck of a lot easier if they could just implement, martial law, or so to speak, and just have the military come in and enforce everything. It's starting to get sickening. Anyways, the EO also allows FEMA to organize citizen work brigades under government control and undertake the relocation of the population. So they can relocate people and organize citizen work brigades under government control, which is almost similar to what we have right now, actually. And it says 10999 also gives FEMA the authority to control all public storage facilities. On June 3rd, 1994, President Clinton consolidated all previous FEMA executive orders into one all-encompassing order, number 12919. As many have noted, FEMA is not an emergency agency. It is a martial law agency. It is often referred to as the secret government of the United States. It is not an elected body. It does not involve itself in public disclosures, and it even has a quasi-secret budget in the billions of dollars. And I've heard a lot of people say that FEMA is just another Nazi, another extension of the Nazi regime to carry out, these FEMA camps and, well, probably a little bit of genocide as well. And who knows, man? I'm just speculating there, but from all the stuff I'm hearing and reading and seeing, this is getting to be some alarming not only legislation that's being passed, but the actions they're taking as well, and the rapid rate at which it's occurring is also kind of worrying. But it's not about living in fear, people. I mean, she can't stop these people. They're going to do what they're going to do, and all you can do is be the best person you can be and live your life the right way and get saved by God. Because in the end, these people are going to pay for everything they do. And I assume the only reason they're even carrying out with it is because they're deceived. Deceived by, you can call it evil spirits, if you will, or Satan, or whatever you want to call it. But they are deceived because the world shouldn't have any of this type of behavior in it. And the only reason it does is because, like I said, we were corrupted along the way. You know, it's not aliens didn't come and create us. That's what they're going to tell you with the whole New Age movement and everything like that. And basically, it wasn't like that at all. What it was is fallen angels corrupted and manipulated us along the way, and either did something to our DNA or whatever it may have been, but they manipulated us. Anyhow, kind of getting off topic here. But this government organization has more power than the President of the United States or the Congress, it goes on to say. It has the power to suspend laws, move entire populations, arrest and detain citizens without a warrant, and then hold them without trial. It can seize property, food supplies, transportation systems, and can suspend the Constitution. If we take the above into consideration, it makes sense that the feds would be interested in keeping track of facilities storing food supplies. So there you have it. I'll include everything that I showed you in the links below.